of the Stringing It Together podcast. I am Becky, your host, and this is a podcast about mostly knitting and some knitwear design thrown in there, and sometimes some cats. Come here. No cats today. Okay, so if you have watched this podcast before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a new viewer, thanks so much for coming to check me out. I hope you like it. So yeah, you can find me on most social media as Soprano Knits. I am there on Instagram as well as Ravelry. And we also have a Ravelry group for the podcast, and that is called the Stringing It Together podcast group, I think. If you go and search Stringing It Together in the groups tab, you will definitely find us. So just a couple of quick announcements. We are in the middle of a CAL right now. We are hosting a CAL, and that is called the Eurostash CAL. You can find all of the details, the rules, all the information over on our Ravelry group. There are two threads. One is a chatter thread, and one is a finished object thread. So the chatter thread has all of the rules on there. It started on February 1st. It goes until May 1st. So plenty of time. And we have a couple of prizes that have been donated. So I will be showing those a little bit later in acquisitions. And we already have some finished objects. You guys are so fast. Good job. And it's just been super fun seeing what you guys are making and learning about the different European yarns and the like. I don't know if you can hear that. Willow, one of my cats, is in the litter box, and I call it her drum solo. Like, she makes so much noise when she's in there. She's crazy. Anyway, the other announcement that I want to make is, I've mentioned this before, that I have designed a pattern that will be included in this awesome new book called Woods Making Stories. And the crowdfunding has begun for that. The book is going to be completely crowdfunded, and it just started last week, I believe. So I am going to put a link below this, like in the info, and then also it'll be in the show notes about how you can go over there and support the book. Obviously, it's really going to be awesome. So go and check it out. Watch. They have an awesome crowdfunding video. And even if you just want to support, but you don't necessarily want the book, there's an option that's €5, and you get a great Frida Course pattern. She's the Wool Club on Instagram. So anyway, just wanted to kind of announce that and let you guys know how you can get involved and learn more about it. Also, the last announcement, I have announced this before, but I wanted to put it in the announcement section. I am going to Edinburgh Yarn Fest. Yay! I am so excited. It's in just a couple of weeks now. Long story short, Hannah of the Corner of Craft. There, I mentioned Hannah. Got to do it every podcast at least once. I'm sure it'll happen again. We are going together, and we don't have tickets. We have plane tickets, but we don't have tickets to the festival, and they sold out. So yeah. We're kind of freaking out about that. They should have some available at the door, but they're not sure, and I don't know. I contacted them, and the organizers were pretty sassy. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that Friday is our big shopping day. We have to leave Saturday afternoon, mainly because I have an opera performance the day after on Sunday, the 12th, I believe. So Friday we will be there all day. And it'll probably be a little bit less busy, so we're hoping we can definitely get in then. But I want to know if you guys are coming, so I think I'm going to open a thread in the group just to see who from our community is coming to EYF, and I'm really excited to meet people in real life. Oh my gosh, and buy lots of yarn. I'm so excited. Okay, so that is it for announcements. Yeah. Good. Okay, so FOs, finished objects. I have two. The first one is, thank goodness, these socks. And this is why I need sock blockers, because they're lace socks and it's hard to show. But you get the idea. I should have blocked them. I didn't. One sock, to sock. These are the This Way Please socks by Rebecca Milton. It is a paid for pattern, and I modified it. It's not giving anything away. I did a different ribbing. I did a 1x1 twisted rib. Don't remember what was in the pattern, but it wasn't this. And I decided to only do the pattern on the leg. In the pattern, it goes onto the foot. And I did a different heel. I did the Fish Lips Kiss heel. If you've been watching for a while, you will know how happy I am to have these done. These have been on the needle since October. That's embarrassing. For socks, come on. I mean, usually nothing is on my needles that long, but especially a pair of socks. So I'm really glad they're done. They have cat hair like everything else. Dunzo. And actually I cast them on during our knit night, and Hannah wove in the ends of the last one for me because I was just so done, and she likes weaving in ends. So good thing she's my neighbor, because I'm going to be sending you everything to weave in its ends now, Hannah. You watch out. And I just like knit on her sock that she was knitting for a while. It was funny. Good. So I knit these out of this yarn. It's a German yarn. I've actually never seen this anywhere before. Now I have to read it backwards. Did I write it down? Yes. Strumpf und Sportwolle. It's a 4-ply, you know, fingering weight thing. 75% wool, 25% nylon. And the number is 1031. There you go. This was a lovely, lovely gift from Annie of the Against All Knots. I almost said knits. Against All Knots podcast. And she sent me a really nice Welcome to Germany gift when I moved. And this was in there. So thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention that. I live in Germany. It's gray and cold and gross. As usual. But they're done. Yay! New pair of socks. But I can't put these in my box of socks because I didn't cast them on this year. So that stinks. Anyway, my other finished object, I can't show you, even though a lot of work has been put into it since I saw you last. This is my design for Woods, and it's a secret, but I'm looking at it. You can't see it. I think I can show you like a corner, but like I really can't show you much. I hope I didn't accidentally. Okay, that's it. That's all you get. But I can show you the yarn. This is Ovis etc. This is her Kempish Heider Shop DK. This is a new base for her. I think I was actually the first person to knit with it, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty rad. So it's being test knit right now. That's where we are in the process. So I am nervous and excited and yay. But the wool is totally beautiful. I had fun knitting with it. And it's done, pattern written, basta. So that is it for FOs. Oh, and I should mention that my hat pattern is called the, Hannelisa said it on her podcast, Zalance hat. I will put it on here. It is a name of a forest in the Netherlands, and I don't speak Dutch at all. So I don't know how to pronounce that, but it looks cool. I like the name. And it sounded really pretty when Hannelisa said it. So go watch her podcast. Oh, I'm drinking coffee or a latte. I can't show you that. It'll spill. Because today's a 2 coffee kind of day. It just is. So that's it for FOs. So let's go to whips. And I have 2 new things on the needles since last time. My first was my first cast on for our Eurostash cow. This is living in my Nomadic Yarns shark bag. She loves sharks. I love sharks. It's awesome. And I'm pretty excited about this whip. It's not big, but it's cool. So this pattern is the Speckled Space Socks. I didn't write down who designed it, but I will put it on the screen. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. A lot of people knit it for Candace of Transitory. That's her Instagram name. Of the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast's Space Knit Along, Outer Space, Base, Socks and Space, Socks and Space, Cal. So that's how I learned about the pattern. It's free. Yeah, this is awesome. But let me tell you about what I'm doing. I'm doing 2 at a time for the first time ever. I'm also doing toe up for the second time ever, but I've never completed a pair of toe up socks. I'm a little scared. I don't understand what people are saying when they're like, I knit toe up so I can try it on as I go. You can also do that with cuff down. Just saying, I don't know when to start the heel flap. I have no idea. I'll figure it out. I'm also knitting them on new needles. This is my first time knitting with ChiaoGoo's. So I'm trying a lot of new things. And actually, I'm really happy with all of it. I had fun doing the toe cast on. I really love these needles for this. And I'm really, really, really enjoying doing 2 at a time. I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's fiddly. I think it's fine. So here is the cake. Well, okay, now it looks like a mess. Here's the cake. This, I'm obsessed with this yarn. This is Epsflat Regina in her Hazel Soft Sock, the Melting Snowman colorway. It is so beautiful, and I love how it's knitting up. Look at it. Look at it. And I really love how both socks are really different. Interesting. So anyway, yes, I am knitting from one cake. I had to rip some stuff out because I keep making dumb mistakes because I'm not focusing. But I'm pulling from the outside and the inside of the ball at once. There is a button trick that I've heard about. But when you like move to a new continent, you don't have random stuff around like spare buttons. So instead, I decided to clip 2, I don't know if you can see that, 2 removable stitch markers together and kind of just use that as a button to keep them separated. And that's working out just fine for that. So yeah, I'm loving the process. The yarn is super duper soft. I am really enjoying the ChiaoGoo's because this cable I think is really good for Magic Loop for socks. I know that some people don't like it, but I just thought that, especially with 2 at a time, it would be nice to have a sturdier cable because it wouldn't be like flopping around. These are the red lace, and I like my sharp needles. These are plenty sharp. These are really nice. So I'm actually going to order another pair because, well, 2 reasons. One, this isn't my normal sock size. This is a 2.25 millimeter needle, and I usually knit on 2.5, which is a US 1.5? Yes, I think so. But I decided to go down on these because I usually knit 48 stitches on my socks, and this pattern didn't have that as an option because I know that that's like freakishly small, but I'm a really loose knitter. So I decided to go down a needle size and then knit the 56 stitch count because I was just too lazy to adapt the pattern. But anyway, that is number 1. That was my first cast on for the Eurostash Cal. And yeah, I'm really loving them. Yay! So that's number 1. Whip number 2 is my Crochet Granny Stripe Blanket, which is living in my Let's Get Crackin' bag, which I love, as you know. I didn't do a ton of work on this, but I did put a couple of rows on, so I just thought it would make an appearance. This was a project I took with me on a crazy audition day where there were also all these train cancellations, so travel was a nightmare, and none of my projects were really in a mindless place, and I just needed something to work on. So anyway, this is how it looks. It hasn't grown a ton, as you can probably tell if you've seen it before, but it did grow a little bit. I just haven't felt too much like working on it. I really like it. I think my problem with it is that I made it really long. Like this is it halved, and it's still really huge. So it takes me a very long time to do 1 row. And I just find that slightly frustrating. So I don't know. My mojo on this has gone away a little bit, but it's a long-term project. I'm sure it'll come back. Sorry, keep bumping my desk. Earthquakes. Good. So that was that. My next cast on, I didn't really intend, but I did it. I cast these on Valentine's Day for Candace's Stripey Socks Cal 2017, which started on Valentine's Day and I think is going through the end of March. And this yarn is also Acquisitions. This was a surprise that I got this week. Ah. So this is the cake, and let me tell you what this is. Let me find the tag. This was a lovely, lovely gift from the amazing Nicole Mendez, who has an Etsy shop, and she is also local to me here in Germany. This is her soft sock in the Brr It's Cold colorway. And yeah, 80% merino, 20% nylon. And she does a lot of self-striping yarns that are beautiful. So if you're in Europe and you're looking for someone who does self-striping yarns, who's an indie dyer and who's local, check her shop out. Obviously, all that information will be in the show notes because this is really beautiful. And this is my socks so far. Ah. So yeah, I'm enjoying this just super pastel-y, beautiful, beautiful self-striping yarn. And I decided, because of my project that you'll see in a minute, which has been a lot of stockinette, I wanted to do something other than vanilla. So I decided to add Hermione's Everyday Socks, because since this is a lighter color, I knew that that pattern would show up. Again, that's a free pattern, and then these can be Harry Potter themed socks. So I think they're really, really beautiful. And Nicole, if you're watching, thank you so, so very much. She also donated a skein for our Cal. I will show that in Stash Acquisitions, but she sent this for me. So thank you. And I'm knitting this on Knit Pro Zings. This was my Valentine's Day cast on because they are red. I like these needles. They're not as sharp as what I usually use, but I like them. These are 2.5 millimeter. I actually really wanted to knit these 2 at a time as well, but I realized that I didn't have 2.5 needles with a long enough cable. So I'm going to order more. And I think I'm going to order Chow Goose because these are a pretty short needle. I think this is like 40 centimeters. And while it works for one sock, fine, I am finding it pretty much impossible to avoid ladders on this sock for some reason. Even though I'm like really pulling it tight, it's kind of driving me insane, if you see that right there. And you can kind of see it in the body of sock as well. I don't know why that is. I don't know that it's a shorter needle, so these are just naturally pulling apart more. I don't know, but it's kind of driving me crazy. I don't know. I'm in a weird magic loop phase. I think I really don't like doing pattern socks on 9-inch circulars, but I like them for vanilla. But anyway, I'm going to order another pair of Chow Goose for that. So yes, that is also another one for the Eurostash Cal, although I can't be eligible for prizes, obviously. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm planning on popping this in for Heels and Toes because I thought it'd be fun. Okay, awesome. Dropping things. Okay, I have one more whip, and I made a lot of progress on it. I have been, honestly, mostly monogamously knitting on this. It's not even in the bag because I've been knitting on it so much. It is my sweater, my EYF sweater, my Edinburgh sweater. Where's the front? I finished the body, and I finished the sleeve last night. Yay! So yeah, you can see that last time I was at that rainbow stitch marker. So I did a lot of work on the body, and obviously it's not blocked. It keeps folding over, and I really hope that once I block it, it stops doing this. It's really hard to show when it's doing that. But yeah, I actually did short row shaping at the bottom. It's really, really, really hard to show. You can kind of see. It's subtle. I didn't do a ton of short rows. And then a twisted rib at the bottom. And then I said I would never do this again after doing it on this sweater. But I did a tubular bind off. Yeah, that's what it's called. The sewn bind off. It took a long time and I regretted it once I started doing it. But, I mean, it looks nice. So, yeah. So, that is that. Again, I didn't steal. I borrowed, I have the pattern. Like I've purchased it. I took the neckline from Melanie Berg's pattern Threshold, and because it has this drop sleeve and this cool thing. And then I decided not to do the pattern. I just did a vanilla sweater. It's what I wanted to knit, and I think it's what this yarn wanted to do. And then I color blocked it, and yeah, so that's it. Here's the sleeve, number 1. Also did, you can see it a little bit better on here, that I also did some short rows on the sleeve to make it match, so it kind of has this curve. Because I wanted it a little bit, on the body, I wanted it curved down in the front and in the back a little. And then I picked up the stitches for the second sleeve. And when I ordered my other Chiago needles, I also ordered these 9-inch circulars because I really wanted to try them for a sleeve. And I love how on Vanilla Socks, they just create such an even fabric that you can't get with Magic Loop. And I wanted these sleeves to fly. So I got these. I like them. I wanted to try them for socks as well. They actually didn't have my size when I ordered last. And now I'm debating whether to try them for socks because I like that the cable is sturdier. If you've knit with 9-inch before, it feels pretty awkward at first. And the needles are so small, but it gives you more to hold on to this way with a firmer needle. However, these are the normal, I think they're just called like reds. They're not the red lace because they don't make the red lace in a 9-inch. They are not very sharp. For my taste, they're a little bit too blunt. I have gotten used to them. It's okay. I'm glad that I'm using them still. In the future for sweaters, I might get higher sharps. So yeah, so now I don't know if I want to try these for socks or not. I know they'll probably be sharper just by being a smaller size. These are 3.5 millimeter or US 4, and they're just not very sharp. But it's okay. They're totally getting the job done, and I'm glad that I have them. I did switch to Magic Loop when I did the short rows, and then when I did the ribbing also, because I find that a little bit annoying on 9-inch. So anyway, this sweater is totally going to be done by Edinburgh, and I'm so excited. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad because my other 2 sweaters that I've knit, you know, I like them and I wear them, but there are things about them that frustrate me that I wish I had known or done differently. And this is my first pullover, so I was kind of worried the same thing would happen, but I think I've learned enough, you know, about like trying it on and making sure it's actually going to be the size that I want and how to do that. And now that I've done some designing, how to modify patterns to make them fit better. And yeah, so I'm really happy with how it's turning out, and I can't wait to have it done and to wear it to EYF. By the way, I didn't talk about what I'm wearing. This is my Portage cardigan. So I will stand up and show that to you. There it is. It's enormous. It's got these cool pockets. It's kind of oversized on me. I knit it too big. But here it is. Oh, and I didn't talk about, sorry guys, I'm not very focused. I didn't talk about the yarn for that sweater. The main color is Madeline Tosh in their MCN base, which I believe you can only get on their website. And the color is Holy Grunge. And then the blue is Shalimar Yarns. And in their Breathless base, which is Merino Cashmere Silk. Luxury. And the color is Blue Steel. So I love both of these yarns. It's so soft and amazing. I love it. So that is it. Yeah, that is it for finished objects, or the whips, whatever they're called. Blah. Okay, so let's move on to acquisitions. I feel like I do have a lot to show you. Okay, so as I mentioned, the lovely Nicole had sent me a skein, and she also sent a skein for the Eurostash Cal. So I will show that to you first. I kind of kept it wrapped up in tissue paper to keep it away from the cats. I mean, it's kept very up and high away. I just don't want the hair to get in it. So this is so fun and amazing and beautiful. And she sent me that she had asked me what I liked from her shop, and I had my eye on that other one. It spoke to me. And then she sent this and that, and she said, you can choose what to keep and what to give away. And once I had them both in my hands, I thought it was the hardest decision because this is just so fun, and it's going to make such an amazing pair of socks. It's also self-striping. Yeah, and this is called Craft Room, which I just thought was such a perfect name for this color. So yeah, this is going to go to one of you guys. Unless I steal it. No, it's going to go to you guys. So that is very exciting. Thank you again so much, Nicole, for your generous donation. Yeah, I'm just very, very overwhelmed. Okay, so next. Okay. So Sandra had messaged me, this was a while ago, maybe like a month and a half ago, and asked if she could send me some minis because I had asked for some minis for my blanket. And I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. So I sent her my address. And then I didn't hear from her for a while, and I figured maybe she forgot, she didn't have enough, whatever, like out of my mind. And then this package shows up, and it was humongous. And I was like, what is this? Holy crap. So what I didn't realize at the time is that Sandra is also a yarn dyer here in Europe. She lives in the Netherlands. And she did send me minis in this bag. Oh, I'm not going to take them all out, but there are a bunch of minis in here, and I'm going to share these with Hannah tonight because I'm going over to sushi. Thanks, Hannah. And then she sent 4 skeins of yarn that she dyed. So, and she said, you can do what you want, like share with Hannah, which I will do. Keep some for yourself, which I'm definitely going to do. And give some away for giveaways, which I'm also going to do. So we're doing it all. The one I decided to keep for myself, because I couldn't not do it. And I sent Hannah a picture. She's like, oh, that one's pretty. And I was like, yeah, back off. It's mine. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I feel like it's getting blown out a little bit. There we go. Sandra. So anyway, sorry, her business, by the way, Craftfulness, which I think is the best name, and like this like namaste, like yarn ball, it's perfect. Because I think that all of us feel very often that making something with our hands is a very mindful activity, and it can be very meditative. Oh my God. Okay, so this is her no pressure base, which is ABD 5% superwash merino and 15% Donegal nip. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to look this up, but it's tweed. So, but I don't know what like that is made out of. I don't know if it's nylon. It's really soft. So I don't know, like, should I make socks out of this? I need to find out what that is, Donegal nip. If it's some sort of nylon or plant fiber or something to make it stronger. Oh, I could do like brioche, something with this. I'm obsessed. And I'm not usually a purple person. It's not one of my go-to colors at all, but this is amazing. So keeping it. So thank you so much, Sandra. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. This one, I mean, I wanted to keep them all, to be honest, but I'll be nice. This one, Hannah wants, and I did see on Sandra's Instagram that it is her most popular colorway, and I can see why. Look at it. Look at it. So this is her DK base, which is 100% superwash merino, and this is her Waddenzee base. Oh my goodness. Look at that. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see what Hannah makes out of that because it's gorgeous. So those are the first two. Oh, and then there are these really fun mini skeins in here that she dyed as well. So those are awesome. And then there's this one, which is Grello is the new black. So obviously it's like grays and yellows, and some of them have turned into sort of these like olive greens. Like, oh, the spot right here is so beautiful. It's like this like golden sort of like olivey green. Oh, it's really, really pretty. This is also on her DK base, which is 100% superwash merino. And this is going to be up for the winning for you guys for the Cal. So get those entries in, get knitting, because that's going to be awesome. And this one, I want to keep this one too, but I might give it to you guys and be nice. What can I say? I love blues and greens. So she has my number with this. This is I Drown in Your Eyes. Saucy. And this is her spoil base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. Oh, it's so great. So great. Really beautiful. So Sandra, I'm super overwhelmed and I cannot thank you enough for this. I mean, sending 4 skeins plus 2 mini skeins plus minis, like for an independent maker and dyer, is just so overwhelmingly generous. That is not lost on me. So thank you so much. And you guys, please, please, please go and support her shop. She makes beautiful, beautiful stuff. And again, another wonderful European indie dyer that was new to me and is probably new to a lot of you guys. So please go and check out her shop. She has a lot of beautiful yarns in there. Thank you. What can I say? Okay, moving on. This is a really funny acquisition. So I had an audition, I mentioned this last time, in Bern, Switzerland. And I will get into this later, but the outcome wasn't what I had hoped. So I went afterwards with my friend from college who sings there, and also this other American girl who went to the same college as me a couple years before. You know, we went and like did what you do in the German speaking world and like drink some beers in the middle of the afternoon. And after several of these beers, you know, we'd been talking about knitting. I think I was knitting because it's me, I'm always knitting. And this girl had been like, I really want a pussy hat. Can you make me a pussy hat? And I was like, yeah, I can make you a pussy hat. And she's like, can you make it today? And I was like, if we got really chunky yarn, probably. But then I was like, I don't want to put that pressure on myself. On the street to this cafe that we went to, which was, by the way, right under where Albert Einstein used to write his, whatever his day job was. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. But anyway, he used to do his day job upstairs from where we were. That was really cool. There was a yarn shop. So we went back over there and she bought these. Now I know these are not pink. She didn't want pink, and honestly I don't really want to knit pink. I mean, I would, but she wanted this. This is Le Ragazza. 100% virgin wool, made in Italy. Oh, it's by Lana Grossa. So, it says, what's up? Which I think is funny. So I somewhat tipsily agreed to knit someone a pussy hat. I haven't even made myself one, but I don't know that I want one. So I'll do that for her. This person I don't know. So that just tells you, be careful when you're drinking and knitting, because you might agree to knit someone else something. Yes. And then this last acquisition was also a bit of a surprise, kind of, sort of. Okay, so the story of this is during Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, I had put out a wish. Someone had offered to grant said wish and said that they would, which is super generous, that they would be willing to purchase a skein of whatever yarn I wanted from this person and ship it to me. They both were like, had the idea to gift it to me, and Melissa and Molly, thank you both. I don't know. I'm confused about what happened and I feel awkward. But just know that I I'm very grateful to you both. I don't know what the situation was, but suffice it to say that the lovely Molly of the Homespun House, messaged me last week and she was like, hey, I found this skein I dyed for you in the bottom of a basket. What's your address? I'll ship it to you right now. And I got it the next day. And when I opened this yarn, I think my reaction was like, ah! Like I made like a horrible sound because oh my God. I still can't handle it. Look at it. So this is her bookworm colorway, which from the moment I saw on her Instagram, I knew I had to have. You guys, I can't describe how much I love this. I can't do it. Look at it. I don't know what it's gonna be. Like, what can it be? I kind of just want it to be a sweater. Like, I want 2 more. Is that crazy? It's her MCN base. Yeah, again in the bookworm colorway. I'm so obsessed with it. I just think it's the most beautiful thing ever. Reds and pinks and golds and deep, deep, deep burgundies. And I think there's some greens in there. She's magical. Everyone says it and it's so true. Oh my God. So I'm just going to thank you both because as far as I'm concerned, you're both responsible for me owning this beautiful yarn baby. It's my favorite thing. So I don't know what to do with this. Tell me. I was thinking maybe something brioche. I was thinking maybe with this awesome skein of Connie's yarn, like that could be a thing. That would be beautiful brioche. I don't know. I kind of just want sweaters quantities of both of these colors. I don't know. But oh my God. So yes. And my very, very last acquisition is, it's been a crazy couple weeks. I feel like I say that every time I podcast, but you know, immigration, it happens. And of course my good friend Hannah, who is my neighbor, came over. She brought me a present. And it's this. It's a dark unicorn. Because I think she had shown it on her podcast and I was like, oh my God, tell me when you make more of those because I'm going to order it from your shop. And she just gifted it to me. And I was like, I was going to buy it. And she was like, I know. But too bad I gifted it to you. Look at it. It's a progress keeper. It's my favorite. It's like a gothic, dark unicorn. Hannah. I love it so much. I don't think her shop is open right now, or it has much in it. But everyone start pestering her to make more of these because they're awesome. Not only this kind, but like all of her beaded progress keepers are just incredible. They're just incredible. Okay, I have to move this so I can see my notes now. Yarn everywhere. Oh yeah, and then I got those Chiago needles. Talked about that. Okay. Briefly, I'm going to talk about some knitting plans because since I'm going to EYF, I'm trying to just like get my wheels turning about what I want to buy. And this is difficult. I think I'm going to have a pretty decent budget. Don't make a whole lot of money these days, but it is a week before my birthday. So I'm giving myself like a little bit more permission. And also I've been just sort of saving up for it and I'm really excited. And plus I'm investing going all the way there. I might as well get some serious yarns, but I want to have a plan. I don't want to just like pretty buy, because I know that, I don't know if you guys have this problem. Maybe it's a starving artist problem. I don't know. Even when I save up money for something and it's something that is like a good investment and something I know I'll use, it's like hard for me to spend money on things sometimes. Like it doesn't feel good or fun and I want it to feel fun. So I'm just trying to really plan out what I'm going to do. So anyway, I really want to get at least one, I'm just going to say at least one, sweaters quantity of DK weight yarn. And I haven't quite nailed down which pattern I want to do, and I think that's okay. I have some ideas in mind, and I'm going to use the yardages for those patterns to inform my decision, but I also know that sometimes the yarn speaks to you, and I might see some yarn and be like, this wants to be this pattern. So I definitely have a couple patterns I'm choosing from, but I haven't chosen. I'm looking at the tambourine cardigan and the Siri or the Zili cardigan. All the Germans pronounce it in the German way. I don't know if the designer's German. She might be. Anyway, those are both gorgeous cardigans that I've had and my favorites for a long time, and I'm thinking one of the two. So yes. Also, as I mentioned last time, I'm thinking about an Aran Weight colorwork pullover of like really woolly yarns. So I'm really thinking about that. So we'll see what I can find. I also want to get a couple of skeins of sport weight yarn to knit a shawl. My Willowbank shawl by Isolde Teague, which I knit out of sport weight yarn, is one of my favorite shawls. I used 3 skeins of sport weight and really like all of them. So it's huge. Excuse me. It's humongous, and I like that it's heavier than fingering weight. But yeah, I think it's a really nice weight for like a lace shawl. So kind of want to do that. I kind of want to get some more things for brioche, especially because I have a couple things in here that would be cool in brioche, but I kind of need a companion color or a couple companion colors to make like a giant project or something like that. I kind of need to nail that down a little bit more, what I want to do. And then I might try to keep in mind get in mind some design ideas and some stuff I want to buy for that. And I have been looking a bit online through the vendors and clicking through their websites and seeing what's out there. And I'm really, really, really excited because it seems like there are a lot of really local to the UK and Scotland, like small batch mills and producers that are just going to have like really unique, just really unique wools that I haven't seen before. And kind of talking about this brings me to another topic that I really debated whether or not I wanted to discuss on the podcast because it's a little bit controversial, but it was information that was new to me, and it's obviously information that relates to knitting. So I've decided that I am going to share it. And this information is about superwash yarn. And I started really looking into this because of Patricia of the lovely, lovely, lovely podcast. She calls it a vlog, her knitography vlog. And Patricia is P4Chen, I would say in German, P4CHEN on Instagram. And guys, if you guys haven't watched this vlog, run, go do it. I am enjoying them so much. She's American. She lives in Norway and she's lived there for quite some time. And she really gets into the history and there's such a rich fiber and knitting history there as there is in so much of Europe, which is part of the reason that I'm so excited to go to the Edinburgh Yarn Fest because I want to learn more about this. And she was talking about a little bit about superwash yarn and how it's not as warm as other wools because of how the yarn has been treated. And I was like, that's really interesting. How has it been treated? I'm going to go read about that. And I was really surprised by the information that I found. And some of it is going to sound kind of negative. So my disclaimer is that my intention in sharing this information is not to knock people who produce this yarn, who dye this yarn, who have a lot of this yarn and work with this yarn, and who love this yarn. I use a lot of superwash yarn. I have so many projects that I adore that are out of superwash yarn. And it has a lot of benefits, right? Of course, the whole point of using superwash is that you can wash it in the washing machine. You can even put it in the dryer and it's not going to ruin it. Many of us still hand wash our goods, but I understand that it's really important for people with families or even otherwise that, your sock might end up in the dryer by accident. It's happened to me in the US. For me, it's not that big of a deal here because we don't have a dryer. Most people don't have a dryer in Europe. And then also for dyers, superwash yarn takes the dye super, super, super well. So that's why most of our indie dyed yarn that we see that has these brilliant colors and awesome speckles and all this kind of stuff tends to be a lot of superwash. So I'm not intending to be negative or to put down what people love, but I think that it's interesting information. And that I'm really glad that Patricia brought it up, because it's really going to just change the way that I think about yarn and yarn buying and what I'm using it for and things like that. So the superwash process, basically what it does is that it removes the scales on like the wool strands and the yarn strands that that kind of go together and cause it to felt when it's exposed to heat and friction, which is what causes wool to felt, right? So it's getting rid of those scales. And that's done using chlorination. So they used chlorine-based chemicals in order to remove them. And this can be problematic because chlorine is very toxic. So, and it creates like a deadly gas, which is bad for the environment and bad for the people that are working with it. Although I'm sure that they have safety measures in place. So that was really surprising to me. I didn't know anything about that. And then usually it is also coated in a plastic that's called Hercoset 125. So they're literally coating your yarn in plastic. And some of the things that I read were arguing that it's no longer, it can't really be considered a natural fiber, or like, is it even wool anymore? It's certainly yarn. It certainly has wool in it. That's just some of the things that I read, and I thought that it was interesting, and I didn't know that before. And it makes sense to me when I think about especially the socks that I've hand knit and the ones that were superwash versus the ones that weren't. I also know that Molly of A Homespun House talked about this on her podcast, maybe about how it was merino, that merino wasn't as warm. But I think I tend to see more superwash merino than other fibers like, or other wools like BFL and stuff like that. So that might contribute as well. Yeah, so I just thought it was interesting. And yeah, I'm really thinking for my next sweater, so I'm going to be looking at this for my DK cardigan and probably my Aran sweater, that I want to try non-superwash. Because for instance, this sweater, I love this yarn. This is Madeline Tosh. This is a superwash yarn. And this is a huge DK, pretty chunky sweater. And it's really not as warm as I expected it to be. And when you think about the process that I just described, it makes sense that you're getting rid of these scales, and therefore the yarn is more slippery and more air can get through it. Because if you've knit with a really woolly yarn, you know that it kind of sticks to your needles, there's more drag. And also if you've ever had to frog anything that was really woolly yarn, you know that it just sticks together. Like, it's kind of hard to get your stitches out sometimes. It doesn't just unravel because the yarn is trying to kind of bind to the yarn next to it because it still has these scales, so it's holding together better. So anyway, that was really interesting. If you guys are interested about that, I will link in the show notes some of the things that I read online, and where I learned about this kind of stuff. So yeah, so the rest is just life stuff. So if you're not interested in that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll just talk a little bit about what's been going on. As I mentioned, I did have that audition in Bern. Didn't work out, that's okay. I had another audition. Well, I had two more. I had one audition for a choral agent, and I'm now repped by that choral agent, which is helpful. She will let me know when positions are open in Germany that I can go audition for. I had another audition for a chorus job that went very, very well. They have another day of auditions, but I'm on the short list for that, and it's not very far from Frankfurt, so that would be really nice. I would move, but if I take a chorus job, it would be very important to me to be close to a very major city. So keep your fingers crossed for that. It's also possible that I might be doing some work at that house later this spring. So we'll see. But I can't announce that yet because they're being real bad about communicating. Yes. So, and this podcast is late because Nathan came for a visit last weekend, which was lovely. And and very kind of last minute planning, like hop on a plane, hello. So that was nice. We sort of celebrated Valentine's Day early. Sadly, I got sick, which is the other reason this podcast is late. I've had a really bad cold, which you might still be able to hear in my voice, for the past week. And that was rough because we have a giant opera premiering tomorrow that I'm in. It's 5 hours long and the chorus is in it all the time. So we had like 3 10-hour rehearsals this week, and I had to work. So 2 days this week, I had to be at my English teaching job at 7:30 in the morning to teach business English before people go to work, and then taught through the morning, and then went to the opera house and was there till like past 10 o'clock at night. So that didn't help my cold very much. There were some crazy days, but luckily the worst is behind me. We have our premiere tomorrow, and yeah, going forward, most of the performances are on the weekends, so it'll be okay. Other than that, it's just kind of been life as usual. Busy with work, still trying to learn German, of course, and practicing and getting ready for other auditions and other jobs and stuff like that. And lots of knitting to keep me sane. Not sure that there's much else to say. I didn't write any notes about my life, so if I'm forgetting something, I don't know. But anyway, I think that's probably it. This episode has gone on kind of long, but I felt like I had a lot to share. So if you're still with me, thank you for sticking around this long. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of our community here. Please join into our Cal, our Euro-Cal. Please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I'm not always super regular with posting, so if you subscribe, it'll show up on your subscriptions feed on YouTube. That's always where I go to find my videos that I want to watch. And yeah, come and join us in the Ravelry group. Tell me if you're going to Edinburgh Yarn Fest. Please check out the crowdfunding for Woods and back it if you are able, / if that is something that you're interested in. It's going to be really, really great. Yeah, and I think that's it for today, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you in about 2 weeks. So yay! Bye, guys.